Hello, beautiful people. It's Sindafam. Welcome to the channel. Today, we're back again with another video, and this is about Drake. So, this is from the channel Fantastic Hip Hop. Yep, we're gonna check this together. It's titled "How Drake's DMs Just Got Leaked," and it's horrible. Okay, we're gonna check it together, and I love your thoughts and your contribution at the end of the video. Let's dive right in.
Now, for Drake and all of those other clowns that he rolls with, after making their entire losing strategy after the Kendrick beef centered around these principles that the truth is going to come to light and that when it does, they will be looked at in a way where we are all going to be the ones who realize we were wrong. Well, now when it comes to what's actually happening, we just got to see and find out what some of the truth going on behind the scenes for Drake really looks like. And what we can say after seeing DMs that Drake had going on with people who were on his side in this entire thing is that over everything else, a lot more may be true about what Kendrick Lamar said about Drake than any of us could have ever imagined. And really, with just how strange and off-putting how bad some of these conversations Drake was having that we have now all seen, it really may be over, and this may ruin more for Drake than we have ever seen. And now, before we go any further into all of this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And so now, with that said, when it comes to Drake, well, with every single thing that could have possibly happened to him in this time, this new leak is really one of the worst things that could have came out possible in this moment. Because now we are seeing firsthand how Drake has built an entire team and image for himself that is based on lies and manipulation, and beyond just this, with the way he is communicating with people who have had his best interest and who will not turn or use anything he says against him. He has really shown that he is weirder when we are not looking than any of us could have ever imagined, and that when it comes to Kendrick Lamar and a record in Not Like Us, Kendrick really may have been fully right and on point about even things that people thought he was stretching or taking liberties with on that track, because with this, Drake has never looked worse, as with messages between him and the main guy on DJ Academics' team who goes by a name that I can't even say, because it is just so offensive and weird, which really just puts into perspective the type of people that Drake rolls with when you know what I'm talking about. First,
And with Drake's beef with Kendrick Lamar, that the supposed beef, you know that there are some things or some information that got revealed that now is kind of brushed away. And let's also not forget that Drake is kind of the golden boy, the Hollywood golden boy so far, and lots of people love him, right? And in some people's eyes, he can do no wrong. But again, you see, in the industry, something ain't right.
and with the conversations that Drake has been having with the main guy who runs Axe pages and controls the narratives that his face represents. Well, for everything else, Drake has been communicating with the head of Axe team quite a lot, and the two have shared messages that directly try to take down Kendrick Lamar and spread the worst narratives about him possible. And funny enough, even just show Drake admitting that he straight up lied about some of the biggest points in his back and forth with Kendrick, like all of his premise on the Hard Part 6, where he said that he set Kendrick up, which while we already all knew that, seeing Drake say he had no idea what any of those pieces that he said he sent to Kendrick and Meet the Grams meant, it is just all the funnier to see Drake straight up lying about what happened in this beef. And for all the people who were trying to act like Drake had something to say here and still believe he won this rap back and forth, seeing a clear admission that the entire premise of the Hard Part 6 was filled with lies and coping from Drake to try and save his own image and reputation is just as funny as it is telling that he lost this thing in record fashion.
And apart from that, people already knew that he sort of straight up lied and sort of like allegedly, and also sort of didn't win the battle because Kendrick was going back and back and back and back. Like Kendrick was giving it harder, 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 and Drake was like, you see, he knew that he's lost and all that, and lots of information that sort of revealed people that he's talked with and all that. But it is Drake. So in some people's eyes, Drake can do no wrong, and that is where the problem lies.
Failures like these to other claims that Drake has been trying to make, which are saying that Kendrick has fixed everything and used big names and personalities in rap to favor him. Overall, with every single thing that Drake is doing,
This is a text message. Okay, I'm just gonna zoom it up for you guys to see. Yes. The DM. Okay.
Kendrick has fixed everything and used big names and personalities in rap to favor him. Overall, with every single thing that Drake is doing in these messages, we are seeing that he is the biggest hypocrite and liar there could ever be, and that there is actual proof that Drake is doing the same thing that he is saying that Kendrick is doing, which is so terrible. And what's really funny is that while Drake fans think he is this creative genius who is always ahead of everybody else, we see here from how he is trying to diminish and take down Kendrick's success, that he is just getting his narratives from the conversation online and then hoping that he's the one who gets praised for it. And between this and Drake just doing things that are not allowed whatsoever with this guy by going behind the scenes,
This. This is it. This. 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 Now, see, we keep saying that in Hollywood, lots of things happen and some things are can't be explained. But see, for people who always think that oh, it's a particular celebrity can do no wrong, they are freaking human beings, right? People can be right and wrong. People can tell lies, and there's also truth and lies, right? But if you think that oh, they are trustworthy, they can't do no wrong and whatnot, think again. Think again because it will shock you.
guy by going behind the scenes and with certain platforms making sure that certain people cannot say bad things about him by making some awful agreements. Overall, with the extent that we are seeing Drake doing some of these things too, it is just showing that he is playing by a different set of rules than everyone else is, and once again,
But again, what if it wasn't Drake? What if it wasn't Drake? What if it is somebody else? Because you know, with these celebrities, right? They sort of are not the ones handling their page. What if it wasn't Drake? That's just a question that just came to mind. What do you think?
and with certain platforms making sure that certain people cannot say bad things about him by making some awful agreements. Overall, with the extent that we are seeing Drake doing some of these things too, it is just showing that he is playing by a different set of rules than everyone else is, and once again, showing that he is the one who is actually doing things that are not just wrong, but that he is trying to say that Kendrick used to win. And overall, as all of this is showing how fragile Drake is, and really just how desperate he is with his entire suit and what he is trying to take down Not Like Us about, beyond just what we have seen here, even worse than anything beef related in terms of what this can all mean for Drake. Beyond just conversations about the beef and messages that show Drake just crashing out more, as these games he was playing stopped working and everyone just realized how much of a terrible place his career has been at, there was one interaction between Drake and the head of Axe team that didn't just reveal to us more about who Drake is behind the scenes than we have ever been able to see, but really with what went down, this is going to come back to make Drake look worse than he ever has due to the nature of what he is trying to claim is going on with Not Like Us, as with a message exchange between Drake and this guy, in a rare time where the two were not gossiping or planning on how to win a beef by doing everything but focusing on the music. Back a few years ago, there was a conversation set where some weird stuff was all put out that we can see, and now while with this, there is a lot of confusion and debate about what Drake is actually referring to, and guys like the one Drake is talking to here are saying that this is from an interview Drake did, and this is showing how good of a person he is, although this makes no sense and there is nothing to be found from Drake around this time. And to really put it into perspective, these messages were from the night when Her Loss came out, and as these messages were from right when the record dropped, it really would make sense that Drake was out and talking about some sort of a party or event that he was at to celebrate the release of the record. Before we get too deep into any of that, no matter what actually happened and what all that may mean, what we can definitely tell is clear, and it is already showing us everything that we need to know in a way, is that in this message where it looks like Drake was describing a night out or some sort of an experience that he had, with there being a message about how there were two people and based on the numbers he used, they should have just never been around each other or in the situation they are in, and no matter how you try to flip this, and even with Drake saying my man and people questioning whether this is talking about the girl's man or Drake's friend, with Drake responding to something and with a situation that is so off-putting in pretty much every way by saying LOL, in a time where Drake himself decided to make everything because of Not Like Us about character and what type of presence and image he had before this. The way this exchange is written is already doing everything that it needed to just expose Drake on some level, and especially with the cover-ups we are seeing from pages he talks to that are clearly trying to change the narrative because over
Exactly true. But again, we get it and we understand that the beef may not sort of not be real. It just may just be sort of a way that they want to put Drake in the spotlight and him to have a more favorable career and lots of people to or his music to sell and all that. But again, I'm just thinking that just maybe the DMs may not even be from him, right? Because these celebrities, it can't be just one person handling that page or handling their page. So what if he's not the one that directly sent or sent those DMs? What if? What if? What if? Because yeah, he has agency, right? He has managers. Emphasis on agency and managers. There are people who may be working behind the scenes, and of course, his brand is Drake, Champagne Pappy. So I mean, everything, the blowback is gonna be the one receiving it, but he may not be the one working behind the scenes. Just maybe.
everything else. Drake has never looked worse because in this message, the way Drake casually talks about this and ends something that is very off-putting to most people by saying LOL. In this time where everything Drake has ever done is going to be looked at by his label to establish what his character really has stood for and what his past has been defined by before Not Like Us was released, as this was multiple years before he and Kendrick ever dropped diss tracks against one another. This message is going to ruin so much of what Drake has been trying to prove and say, as for so many reasons. A comment like this exposes and breaks down everything we need to know, because clearly we are starting to see a pattern emerge now where with Drake. Drake describing this story with him saying LOL to something this weird, it indirectly tells us that on some level, this type of situation is something that Drake and his crew do run into, but they don't take it seriously or handle this with the proper thought that they should. And with this, you don't need me to spell it out. This could ruin everything for Drake more than we have ever seen, because now his label can just use something like this and say that beyond all of the stuff around artistic expression that they are already using, they can take things to the next level and paint a much more effective picture by saying that Not Like Us did not do a single thing to affect Drake's reputation in a way that revealed and present information that was not already out there. And of course, this entire groundwork would be established with Drake's behavior, and I mean with this message being proof of that, just because, again, no matter what you want to say, Drake is the one sitting around in these places where this can happen. Clearly, it is something that he does not take seriously, because who would finish a thought like this by putting an LOL there? And again, even with that, if this is what Drake is doing with someone on this level, I can't even imagine what else he may be doing to people who are much more down with everything he has to offer. But overall, this is exactly why Drake should have walked away with his L from Kendrick Lamar and moved on. Because with him now making the stakes of this beef much bigger by going against his entire label, it is now up to them to prove that things like this for Drake have always been happening, and that this is the behavior from him that has always been out there. And so with what we have just seen, this is just strengthening how the label is going to be able to end his career on a scale like we have only ever seen a few times in the industry. Because with now having definitive proof of how Drake speaks about these things now alongside all of the other stories that there has been about his questionable moves, which again is already something that his label is pushing. Again, it all builds up an image and character of who Drake is. That is just showing how he does not think and see things like the rest of everybody else does. And so now with Drake getting one step closer to just losing everything, with both how weird he is and how strange what is going behind the scenes with him has been as well. To even beyond this, the other messages which show how petty he has been about Not Like Us and Kendrick Lamar's success. Two, again, full-on messages where Drake and the leader of Axe platform, aside from the man himself, are planning on how to create these massive stories that will make Lamar look worse and Drake look better. All in all, Kendrick Lamar's diss tracks have once again just got better, because now beyond Drake spiraling like we have already never seen, there is now proof confirming that everything we have been saying has actually been going on. And again,
Now, I just want to say this. Yeah, I know lots of people or some people already know this, but I just want to say that sometimes some labels or some record labels put artists against each other. So, sort of create some level of competition between them, jealousy, hatred, and whatnot to keep it going because they want to use one to shine spotlight or they want to create some sort of tension between both. Because, like sometimes they just want to create this feud to make it look like they are really having feud in between or with each other. It may not be in that light, or it may just be because they want to push one person's or elevate one person's career over the other, or it may be because um sometimes some people just love Messi, right? Or maybe they're just putting up both of them against each other to make it seem like they're having beef whatsoever, and they just want to control the narrative. And what it is messy, it is crazy. But again, it may also be that the people working behind the scenes are the one pushing or playing chess or moving both players. It may be that light. And remember, it may not be what Drake wants, but because he is tied towards the record label or tied to agency or he's got managers, he has to do as they say. But remember, because he is the brand, everything is gonna point back to him. It's insane. It's just crazy how, like, when you think about how the entertainment industry works, sometimes like putting one or two together or putting the pieces together, you realize that lots of things actually don't make sense. But in their eye, they sort of want to make it look like it makes sense, which it doesn't. What do you think?
these messages just being with a basic guy who is involved with Act, With a lot of the more significant stories and moments that may come out, you have to wonder just how bad what they could possibly be like if this is what Drake is saying here. And while we don't know what's actually happening yet, and really with how strange and lame Drake shows he is in these messages, that may not be a good thing, altogether what is clear is that with stuff like this coming out and Drake's gimmicks being further and further apparent, his career has never been more over, because now beyond music and how you may feel about whatever he has done in the booth, as this is now so much bigger than the actual music, and this is about the way artists and rappers can express themselves, and also how the industry stands up to an artist who is trying to ruin them because he is no longer in their favorite circle. If more of these moments come out, just see how quickly narratives will build up around Drake that won't help his career at all, and are only going to fuel Not Like Us one more time and show that when it comes to Kendrick saying that OVO does have a lot of weird stuff going on, that he is fully right, and with this, while Drake may have thought he was doing a good job of keeping the most desperate team in hip-hop by his side to try and retain whatever parts of his career are left, all he has done by having such weird conversations that we can see is make sure that the song that has ruined everything for him just becomes more and more true. And so now with all of this said, let me know, what do you think about what has went down with all these messages from Drake? Is this the start of him really getting exposed, and what do you think is going to happen from here? Now, I can't wait to hear what you have to say about all of this, and if you made it to this point in the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now,
I sort of also want to think that the agency would not want something to get messy, or want I mean, at this point they will not want Drake's career to just take a pause or end like that. They may also want it to be favorable for however long their contract says, or however long they want to keep it going on for. Because I mean, let's not forget that these people are the people that control the shots. They are the ones that calls the player, right? Or hold the players, hold their careers at hand and all that. So they are, like, to them, they make you, they are gonna break you when they can, or they're gonna take it away from you when they can, and all that. So just maybe, just maybe, it may be that um and no, we're not giving excusing maybe for all the things that maybe Drake allegedly must have done and all that, but we're just saying that there are also some people who play the chess game, or play, or who are the game players behind the scenes, that also may be wanting or causing or doing all of this. And because Drake is sort of the front face, or the face behind all of this, so everything is going to point back at him, and maybe he just doesn't have a say to it. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Obviously, the DM, the message, on all this, what we just saw here, is crazy and it's wild. But let's not also forget again that sometimes some things that happens behind the scenes are unexplainable. But Drake, remember that Drake is the golden boy too. So I mean, I want you to play all the scenarios however best you can, and pick the one that best, or you think that best suits this case. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. What do you think about this so far? I would love your thoughts and your contribution at the in the comments below. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and all that stuff. And until next time, see you in the next video.